Look, if you don't want to make that change within yourself, it's not going to get better. This might not apply to everybody, but if you feel like you're rock bottom, okay, and you're hoping for a better day, but you literally are doing the same thing over and over again, expecting different results, that's a definition of insanity. You are provided with a choice every day. You are provided with multiple choices throughout the entire day. Take that choice, make that change. You've identified a problem. You're saying you're rock bottom. Got it. You're there now. There's only one way, and it's up. So change your mindset. Use that choice and go a freaking different direction. Love y'all. Faceman VTT out.
Day 3 of retirement. As an infantryman, I was asked if I could clean the sink. So let's look at this. Definitely some kind of grime on there. And I open up the cabinet. What do I use? Nothing comes to mind. Like my experience is my skill set. Nothing. Wait a minute. Everyone knows this is how you clean everything. Infantry, retired.
You can just take it.
Would you like a military discount?
Do you offer one?
Honestly, cap of the day.
Thank you.
CC's Pizza is the county fair of restaurants. You go in there, you look around, you feel a little bit better about yourself, then you realize that you're in there too. Tell me I'm wrong. Well, let's be honest. You know, not everybody's made for this life. It's scary. You know, you gotta jump out of a plane while it's moving. That's not natural. It's high, it's fucking wet outside sometimes. It's snowy, it's hot, it's dry, it's shitty. Who the fuck would want to be airborne? Best job I ever had.
This is the Veteran Trash Talk Hour, hosted by Nick, Dave, and Buddy. Real warriors making fun of other real warriors. Try to not get triggered.
What's up, Trash Talkers? What's up, Gruntworks Nation? We are live a little bit late, and I'm going to get into it, okay? Because it's just added to the triggers. Okay, but hey, welcome to the Trash Talk Hour. We got Hersh, all right, from the Hersh Shit Show. So she's on all the pages. You see her comment once in a while. She has a great logo, and like I said, it's the best name of a podcast I've ever seen. Her Shit, SHYT show is freaking awesome, but we'll get into that later as well. With us, because I'll get into my trigger in a second, but with us is VTT's mental health warrior, Clifford Bauman. All right, you catch his show live every Thursday, and he's also on Reach Across America. And then we let the bottom feeders come up today. All right, like normally we keep Chris in a basement, you know, where nobody can talk to him, see him, all right, and he just does his work for the company. But we're gonna let him shine today. So it's a risk we're willing to take. So if you're on the thread, say hi, say where you're watching from, drop a comment. And again, the best thing you can do is just share it because we like to promote veteran-owned businesses the best that we can. Veteran-owned anything. Doesn't matter if you're an apparel company. Doesn't matter if you're a podcaster. Doesn't matter if you sell goats. All right, we had a guy in here who sold goats. We'll promote you. Like, don't care. Like it is what it is. But hey, big shout out to 10th Mountain Whiskey. I know we don't usually do the sponsors much anymore, but they're big friends of ours, and big veteran supporters out in Colorado. And right now they have a brandy that's getting voted on top 10 USA Today.
It's second currently.
All right, currently second. So scroll back on the screen or go to Veteran Trash Talk, the Facebook page, and see the link on there. Go vote for that brandy. I don't care if you drink it or not, just vote for it. I'm telling you right now, it's really good.
It's
and then
good
go
brandy.
order. Yeah, and then go order it, and then use the code VTT. All right, you'll get yourself a discount on the bourbon, brandy, vodka, whatever you got going on. But all right, we're gonna jump right into it with Chris, and Chris is gonna take Face Man's. Well, first of all, Face Man's not here today. All right, because apparently he didn't realize he has to work when he gets out of the Army.
He had to go buy a house.
And if you're gonna do real estate, you can't just smile at people, right? You actually have to go do something. All right, so I'm glad that Megan's got him locked up. And then Buddy, I just got the news. Buddy is no longer on the market, ladies. So I'm sorry. She said yes.
Nice.
All right, so good for you, Buddy. That's awesome. Okay.
Welcome to the club.
Yeah, welcome to the club again. So, but Buddy's awesome. He's like I said, he's one of the nicest people on the planet, and he's also one of the most lethal people I've ever met on the planet. So it's a be nice to him or fuck around and find out.
You gotta watch out for.
So so he'll smile at you and play dumb with the Alabama accent, but he's real smart, real qualified. And so best of luck to you, Buddy, and everything you got going on. So, all right, over to Chris, VTT's muffin fingers or the baker or the fake Asian, whatever we feel like calling him. That's what he is.
Whatever.
So, all right, Chris, what you got?
So I've been talking to Dave about this conspiracy for quite some time, and I'm just going to say, you know him as DB Cooper, but his name was Dan Cooper. This is the story about the only successful and unsolved airjacking in aviation history. Mm-hmm. This man jumped on a plane in Oregon, was going from Oregon to Washington. Got to Washington, handed the stewardess a note. This is back before there was any kind of like security or anything like that. You just walked on the plane. They didn't check IDs, nothing. No full body cavity searches, anything like that. And so he got on the plane with an attaché and a briefcase.
Okay, yeah.
Sits in the very back of the plane, talks to the stewardess, hands her a letter, goes, "You need to read that." She's like, "Oh, you're just flirting with me." He's like, "No, I've got a bomb. You need to read that." And she reads it, and he goes, "Come sit next to me. I've got a bomb." He makes his demands. He asks for $200,000, 2 main chutes, and 2 reserve chutes, 2 back chutes, 2 front chutes. They land in Seattle. He lets all the passengers off. He lets some of the crew off, keeps the pilot, the co-pilot, and like 1 or 2 of the stewardesses. Says, make a bolt to Mexico. Starts flying to Mexico.
When did he get the money?
At Seattle. They brought it
on. Okay.
They brought the parachutes and the money on at Seattle. $200,000 in $20 bills. 27 pounds worth of... He fucked up. Didn't say, this is supposed to be whatever denomination. They just gave it to him. Airline's like, yeah, we'll pay it. Everything gets loaded up, and he's like, head to Mexico City. And they're like, we don't have enough fuel for Mexico. How about Reno? He's like, Reno will do. They get about an hour in the air, and he orders the stewardess to go to the front of the plane. He opens the door to the back of the plane because this was a Boeing 727 where it had the rear stairs, one of the only planes that did. Opens the plane up, jumps out, never to be seen again. The only physical evidence they found was like 3 years later, in 1974, they found 3 bundles of the $20 bills because they had the serial numbers recorded. Mm-hmm. And then half a pack of cigarettes and his tie was left on the plane. The bundles were found on the Columbia River about 20 miles from where the supposed drop zone was. Never to be seen again.
Nope.
So the big thing is he still alive? Is he dead? Did he die that night? Did he live on for years? There's been a couple suspects here and there. He's been top of the FBI's most wanted list. It's one of the only cases unsolved within the FBI for so long. It's what's your take? I think he made it. I think he made.
Netflix did a series on that. I don't know if you guys watched the DB Cooper Netflix, but the guy that they named that they think that is him, of course, that guy is now passed away. The evidence against him was pretty convincing, although they could never prove it.
It's all circumstantial.
Yeah.
That
Nice.
guy was actually airborne. The suspect.
All right, let's start with Hersh. See what her take is. But before that, Brian's watching from Southern Appalachia. We got Courtney checking in from Pennsylvania. We got Bobby coming in from South Carolina. All right, they're saying hi. Hey, you guys go ahead and put your opinion down on who DB Cooper is. Did he do it? Did he survive? What's he got? But Hersh, what's your take on it?
Well, being the fact that I'm actually a criminal justice major, I actually had to read about all of that. I think he made it, truth be told. And even if the guy that they're saying may have been him or whatever, with DNA and the technology we have these days, if they really wanted to know, they could find out if this really the guy or not.
But there was no DNA. They didn't find. All they had of him, of DB Cooper, was his tie.
Yeah.
And an unsmoked pack of cigarettes.
Yeah.
But you said a half a pack of cigarettes, right?
Right.
So, but my thing is, with you have skin cells that drop. So maybe now if they preserved it properly, that's the only way to really find out.
That was
They
1971.
tested the tie. They couldn't pull nothing off it.
It could have been somebody using the man's name, but whoever did it, and if he was airborne, he made it. Definitely, he made it.
Oh yeah.
Well, so that's funny. That's part of it. I wasn't going to go too into detail with that, but in researching this, Dan Cooper was a comic book character.
He was a comic book character.
Yeah.
So you think somebody made the name up?
Well, no, they think that he used that comic book character as his alias.
Yeah.
Which would make sense. I
So
mean,
it'd
why
be
would
like
you?
me getting on a plane as Clark Kent.
Yeah. Yeah. How they tied that back to Canada was pretty interesting too. If you watch that series on Netflix.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
I mean,
was he airborne? Obviously.
So we don't know if DB Cooper was airborne.
Yeah.
But was he airborne in the comic book?
Yeah, he was a pilot.
Oh, okay. Okay.
Yeah, he was a pilot. And he used to do like where he'd jump out of planes and save people and do all this heroic crap. And,
Okay, so if you're going to do something dirty and shicey and actually get the money or whatever, why would you use your government name? Period. So I think
especially
that
if they're not checking IDs.
Well, I mean, I got to talk shit about my family, my Rangers, but they had a good bank heist in Seattle as well, but they wore their actual fucking tops.
Yeah.
And had their names on it. So they
wasn't there some soldiers that used they had their name tapes and shit on. They tried to run them.
Yeah.
Well, that was 275. Like those are guys, they had a brilliant plan. They went in there, they raided it, had the escape routes, like
Nice.
Great raid that you learn in Ranger School, and one thing, they actually wore their freaking uniform. Like whoopsie. So.
My bad.
Yeah.
But I think the guy made it. In all reality, whoever that gentleman was, whatever his name really was, I think he made it. I honestly think he made it and possibly lived the best life he could live, and nobody fucked around and found out.
Yeah. That's right.
All right, Cliff, what's your take on it, or did you already give it?
Oh yeah, I already got. I think he survived. I think he had a group of people that went and retrieved him and got out. I think it was. I think he was probably an employee of the airline. I think it was his way of getting back at somebody, and I think that's why he did what he did. And I think he went off and lived a good life and probably enjoyed watching all the shows and everything being talked about him. And he probably figured out that it's probably better that he stayed anonymous. And just enjoy, most people like that, right? If you watch, about serial killers and stuff, they watch the news, they read the newspaper, they keep ties on it, they keep teasing people about it and whatever. And I think he just enjoyed all the publicity that he got and staying anonymous probably up until the time that he died.
So do you think it was their number one suspect, even though all that evidence was circumstantial?
If you watch that series on Netflix, they put a pretty good case together.
They do.
I would say it was probably, I'm not going to say his name, you go watch the series, but I think it was possibility, probably the number one suspect, I assume, but I mean, he denied it. And then he countersued the guys that were kept harassing about being it. But it was pretty interesting how they tied all that in and kind of back to him in a circumstantial way. But yeah.
Yeah, Brad
Yeah,
Meltzer did a big thing on it on Decoded as well, and started interviewing the people that wrote the books and all that stuff.
But hey, I got to step away for a second. I got to run Lloyd to a quick party. I'll be back in about 10 minutes or so, and I'll be back on. And
hurry the hell up.
I know, right? All right, I'll be right back.
So,
what about you, Nick?
Well, yeah, so I mean, it's. I think I could take two looks at this. I could take an objective and a subjective look. All right. So the subjective look, obviously being my opinion, is that he, 100% got away with it. Obviously, right? Like. And I think that, he has some airborne skills. And, like I said, in the movies, I run my life based off of movies. And you have Goodfellas, right? You have, Henry Hill, who was the 82nd paratrooper. Okay, no big deal. But, he gets into the organized crime and are able to, make the heist of the century at the airport, which is a true story, And so they also made the mistakes of, spending all the money, and all of a sudden, government eyes start going, hey, where did you get that new car? Like, hey, where did you get all that? But then here's what really happened. Okay, like this is the truth comes out. It was the CIA. All right, like you got to think in the 70s. All right, we're in the middle of the in the crack epidemic. All that stuff, and we're getting all the heroin from Thailand, Vietnam, and the government stopped funding the Vietnam War, yet the CIA was somehow coming up with money in the Phoenix program, all right, which was obviously crack money, all right, and then they're shoving that in the American cities. But I'm thinking if that $200,000, which doesn't seem like a lot, what's the inflation rate? What is that equivalent to now?
Oh, let's find out real quick.
Yeah, probably like $1 million, $1.5 million.
I was about to say it's got to be over $1
Yeah, and but that's still to the FBI. That's not that much money, right? And to the government, even to the airlines, it's not that much money, which I'll get into in my triggered moment.
1.5 million. 1.49.
Yeah, it sounds close.
Yeah.
So it was a lot of money, but why did we really try to catch him? All right, were we really looking for him?
Yeah, I agree with that.
Or did he jump out of there with that money? And that money got sent, he got picked up, and that money went somewhere else, right? And it got used to fund something that nobody knows about, right?
So they
people
just
forget
left that $5,800, those 3 bundles of 20s on the side, just to kind of divert distraction.
Yeah, a little bit. So that's obviously my first opinion was the objective one, but I flipped it. This is what happened. He got away with it. But I also think that he got that money for a different reason. And if they make this elaborate DB Cooper thing to where, he's using a comic book character's name, and so it's publicity.
Well, so take this with it. DB Cooper wasn't his original. That's something the media coined him on accident.
Oh, okay.
So he signed into the airline as Dan Cooper.
Okay.
And one paper misquoted it as DB Cooper, and what they say is DB Cooper sounded cooler, so they went with that from there on out.
So what was the actual other headlines around that time frame? Because typically when there's a headline that comes out, it's to cover up something else that was going on. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah, it's Vietnam in the 70s.
Yeah, Vietnam.
Yeah,
all of Vietnam.
Yeah.
And that was
a lot of distrust in
the
the federal government because of it. And this guy is the people's hero, getting back at the man.
So do you think that guy had maybe some secrets, like you were saying, Earl? Like, they had some secrets or something. They was actually trying to pay the guy off and then made it seem like this whole big thing?
Sure, maybe he knew something, but he knew that he could, that was just the way to get the money for a different avenue. And then obviously the powers that be took care of him. Yeah. Well, yeah. Laundered all of it. Yeah, all that good stuff.
Yeah.
But yeah, we wanted to try a new segment on the show, and JC Glick. Okay. Say it twice. JC Glick. All right. Go look him up on LinkedIn and all that stuff. He's this TED talker, Ranger commander, author, best-selling author, does all these podcasts about leadership and ownership. And, it's like, here we are, like where you made a commitment to Veteran Trash Talk, who has more followers than you. All right. You made a commitment and you didn't show up. And it breaks my heart because I know all the women out there were super excited because you are VTT's dad bod heartthrob. All right. So like, I'm sorry, ladies. You're just going to have to stare at Chris and I. Okay.
Sorry.
Like, it's just, it is what it is. All right. Like, but
Cliff was
no.
here.
Yeah, Cliff was here, but he ain't good looking either. So it's but there's no doubt about it. JC's a big man. He's a good looking man, you know, and it's like and he speaks very well. He's eloquent, you know. It's like watching The Bachelor for like a 50-year-old. And he also wears like $300 shirts. He's like Norwegian shirts or whatever they're called.
Bachelor Blue Plate Special Sour.
Yeah, something like that. But that definitely triggered me because JC's a good friend of mine. But I actually hope that he's okay. I hope that there's nothing wrong, like not a car accident or something like that. So JC, feel free to reach out, my friend, if something else is going on. Rob Ballard says heartthrob. What? Rob, didn't you watch him the first time he came on the show? Like all the women on the freaking chat were losing their minds. And I was like, I think we just found the VTT's dad bod heartthrob. And I said that because
made Dave jealous.
Yeah, Dave's like, I'm the face man. I'm the good looking one. No, Dave, sorry. JC got you on that one. So yeah, that triggered me a little bit. But I wanted to start a segment that one of the hosts would give what triggered them during the week, and then JC, being the leadership coach that he is, that he would give you some way to be more positive and do something nice next week. So I was like, here, try this next week. That's what I was hoping that he would come on and do. So maybe if Cliff ever gets back from dropping off the boy we'll let him close out with that. How about that? We'll let Cliff close out with his recommendation for next week to be a better person.
Yeah.
So let's get into what triggered the big Earl. Okay, this week. So I was traveling back from the H2F symposium at Fort Eustis and coming back flying, and this is what it triggers me because with my moral fiber and the ethical code of you have the freedom to say and do whatever you want in the United States. All right. Now, sometimes you have to own up for what you say and do, but you have the freedom. You also have the freedom to be a moron. And again, you might not like it. And we know that the liberals hate that. Because the liberals are virtue signaling, and the right, the very far right, they hate it too, right? Because they all want you to just think the way they think, all right? And like you don't get the freedom to say that, yeah. So it's called group thinking, all right? It's never worked ever. Okay, so like don't do it. It's okay to be a little left. It's okay to be a little right. It's okay. It's okay to be all the way left too. It's okay. That's the problem. In my moral fiber, it's okay to do that. But I just think you're a fucking moron. Okay, so Here's what triggered me. All right. Airlines. All right. If you travel as much as the Big Earl does, there's always something going wrong. All right. And it's because there is a shortage in airline personnel, even though it's picked up in the past year. Right. They have to pack these planes because there's not enough pilots. All right. So like the planes are packed, and when you have one, get delayed or canceled, forget about it. Like they don't have the planes and the employees to fly the planes where they can just bring another one in from Atlanta or bring another one in from Dallas. They can't bring you another plane.
Were down
30 to 40%. Right. So they just don't have the pilots. And then the stewardesses and stewards, whatever your pronoun you want to call them. Right. Like flight attendants. Sure. Like they're just not, they're not around. But here's what triggers me. Here's what triggers me, where I agree that you have the right to say whatever you want, but I don't think you should have the right in my subjectivity. But, in America, you do. If you walk on that motherfucking plane with a mask, all right, and I'm sitting there like, first of all, the only logical reason for you to wear a mask is because you were sick. All right. And so this travel better be really fucking important for you to have a mask on this airplane. Like, because obviously you were sick. Because that's the only thing that you're helping with. And then you obviously ignore the science, the actual science that we're on an airline with their recirculated air programs. It's the cleanest air you're ever going to be in. Like, ever. and they've already done all this. There wasn't one COVID breakout on an airplane during the entire. There was never one breakout. Why? Because they recirculate that air so much. Now, obviously, if I turn and sneeze on you, yeah, you're fucked, right? But it's like it is what it is. But so here's what triggered me. So we're delayed, and this guy's sitting down next to me with a mask, and he's like, and he kind of like, he just. I'm judging a book by the cover. He's just giving off that I'm a virtue singling progressive liberal type vibe, and I'm sitting there like. I'm just like, whatever. And so he takes his mask off when he gets the Coke and the cookies. Okay. So because he's a super fucking healthy person, he orders a Coke and eats cookies. Right. But now he's safe, right? Because he's eating, right? He's doing all this stuff, and then he starts whining about how long it took for the flight attendant to get there. And then he was bitching about the delay. Right. And I practiced discipline, but it triggered the shit out of me, right? Like I'm sitting there, I just wanted to say it's because you people who wanted to shut everything down because of the flu, right? Like you wanted to make everybody lose their jobs. And then why would somebody go be a pilot? That's why the certification was up 30 or 40%. You want me to go pay money to go to a school to learn something that I might not even get a job because we ain't traveling nowhere? So no, you don't get to complain. Right? You're the one that wanted that shutdown. You're the one that wanted to crush the airline industry. Now the airline industry recovered because guess who bailed them the fuck out? Right? The government did. But it doesn't mean that that money didn't go to hire new employees. All right. That money went to all the executives who weren't making any money that year. Okay. And so there you have that. Second part of that. Restaurants. Okay. If you go out to eat now, I hope you show those people that are actually working there some fucking respect. All right. Because the restaurant industry was hammered during COVID. All right. Yep. And they weren't hammered because of the flu. They were hammered because you idiots shut everything down. Right. And then you came up with this wazoo theory that if you wear a mask, it's okay to take it off when you sit down at the table because COVID goes away once you sit down. Everybody knows that. Right. So like the common sense factor of this bullshit's out of control. And it's like if you go into a restaurant and you're wondering why the service sucks, it's because all the good servers who were serving before COVID got fucking laid off. Right. And then they went and found something else to do. And they were probably really hard workers. So they probably found something else to do. And they're probably good at that as well. So they're like, why would I go back into an industry that I might just get laid off for a year? Like, again, let's pass the fifth principle of patrolling for you Rangers out there. It's common sense. Okay, let's pass it. Okay, let's think about it. All right. So that's what triggered me.
I got a comment for you.
Yeah. What do you got?
So Michael Bard on Gruntwork says the only whining he's hearing is you.
Mm.
What did he say?
The only whining he's hearing is you.
Right, because I'm triggered, motherfucker.
Just don't get pansy about it.
That's the whole point. I wasn't a pansy in the situation.
Good.
I wasn't. I could have said those things to those people, but I didn't. I just held the triggerness inside, but it triggered me.
And now you're on here venting at your, with your outlet. Wild.
Yeah, exactly. And hey, I really do appreciate you listening to my whining because it helps pay for my golf balls. So thanks
you
for
go dive in the lake and get whatever's left.
Yeah. So I don't know what Bobby Lee just said. My I love you button is fucking breaking. I'm going to say yes to that.
He keeps hearting it because he loves what you're saying so much.
Oh, gotcha.
Yeah,
okay, so I need the nerds to figure that out for me. But okay, that's that's what triggered me this week, and it could go into a little bit of a book of Earl, but I don't want to take any time away from Hersh. It's it just because I was mad about that doesn't mean that I have to say something. All right, it doesn't mean that I have to ruin that guy's day because he's already in his mind. He's already scared of everything except for Coca-Cola and cookies, right?
Wait,
he's already.
You experienced something you didn't like, and essentially scrolled on.
Right.
You can do that?
Pretty much.
Yeah.
That's possible.
Yeah. So, Chris, show your shirt. You go to shop.veteran trash talk and get this shirt, but it's quit being a triggered pansy. All right. And this is exactly what this rolls into. Nobody says quit being triggered because everybody gets triggered. Yep. But quit being a triggered pansy. Like, so I could have been a pansy. I could have caused friggin' ruckus up in there. You know, it could have been all that stuff. But no, I right away just like, I would never party with this guy. He's a douchebag, right? Like, not a chance. Like, you suck. But I don't know.
You know, I'm here now, so you can quit talking about me.
Yeah. But hey, Cliff, we're going to switch your segment of a recommendation to make yourself better to the end of the show.
Okay.
And so we're going to jump right over to Hersh. Okay, this is awesome. So again, like we started the show off, we're here to promote veteran-owned businesses, veteran causes, anything, authors, doesn't matter. It doesn't matter what you're doing. If you're a veteran, we'll promote you. If you're not a veteran, but you're helping the veteran community out, we'll promote you. So you know anybody like that, let us know. We'll get them on here. And again, thank you so much to the community that has become Veteran Trash Talk and VTT official and all that stuff, because you make it possible for us to, some people have a lot of success on this show, but everybody has fun. So that's all that matters. But I came across the Hersh shit show, right? Because again, great marketing, great graphic, great name. So it got my attention, and I noticed that she was kind of popping in and out of Veteran Trash Talk, so I messaged her and said, you got a podcast? I was like, why don't you come bring it on the show? Let's talk about it. So, and she's rocking our Fuck ISIS shirt on our Gruntworks line, which is also on shop.veterantrashtalk.com. But hey, obviously she wasn't airborne, or that'd have been the first thing in her bio. She would have told us right away. She wasn't a Marine, because that'd have been another thing she would have said right away. But no, she's just an awesome third ID veteran. So Hersh, tell us what you got going on. Tell us about your service a little bit, and your show and how it came together. Give everybody who doesn't have the ovaries to start a podcast, and the skills to do it. So what you got going on?
Look, first and foremost, I ain't even got no ovaries no more. So let's get that part out of the way. But no, so the Hersh show, it actually started 3 years ago. We started season 3 recently, just doing a little technology change-ups and whatnot. And it pretty much started because I talk a lot of shit and I got a lot of shit to say. And I was on another show called the Rooted in Love Show with A. Robinson's TV. And I went on there and they were doing some questionnaires and whatnot. And then he came to me and was like, hey, you need your own show. And we got to joking around about the names or whatever. And I told him, well, it's her shit. It's my shit, and we got to joking around with it. And he was like, go ahead. And he's like, well, send me a photo of you. So I sent him the drunkest picture from Las Vegas as possible for the logo. And it just all came together. And that's it. That's all. So, it's a lot of, with any show, you're growing and you're learning as you keep going. Because my thing is, I don't have a niche. I just talk shit. You give me a topic and my hashtag is perception is reality. Just like you were saying earlier with your perception or being triggered or whatever you want to call it. That's your perception. You saw what you saw and you kept scrolling, period. You kept it. There's too many titty baby ass people out in this world. Yeah. And they need to be reminded that there are some titty baby.
Yeah.
That's it.
Yeah, so what does that mean? What does that mean?
Well, some titty babies, they need to get it in their mouth and let it be. They need to grow the fuck up. That's what pretty much a titty baby is. Grow the fuck up.
They need to learn from Chris's shirt that he has on.
Yeah. Exactly.
Being a triggered pansy.
So I was listening to one of your episodes, and you were talking about speaking things into existence and doing that. And I think I saw you said about 93 episodes. 90 something like that.
Yeah, we're going into season 3, so yeah,
something like that,
give or take. Yeah.
That's a tremendous amount of episodes, so I applaud you for keeping going with that, because one of the problems with podcasters is they just stop. You have
to be consistent. You gotta be consistent no matter what.
Easy.
Yeah, Cliff has a good one, and again, sometimes you have months where you're getting 4,000 to 5,000 downloads, and then you're having months where you're getting 100 to 200. It's like, what did I do wrong? Doesn't matter. Maybe that show just sucks. Who cares? Get over it. And it's like, or it didn't hit the algorithm. It is what it is.
And when my producer comes back comes and tells me about numbers, I said, guy, I'm here to talk shit. I'm not here to watch the numbers. Mm-hmm. My thing is my very first episode was about addiction, right? My niece had literally just overdosed on the heroin now mix. That was my very first episode. And I had her little keepsake urn in front of me, and I was pissed that day, right? Not 2 days after I recorded that initial episode, my brother, her father, ended up doing the same fucking thing. So I put fucking diction on a lot of things because that's a whole different topic we can get into. But as far as the podcast goes, you do have to be consistent. You can't look at how many likes and how many, if you're in it to get the message out there. My thing is I talk about credit. I talk about law of attraction. I talk about PTSD. I talk about, I'm not an expert in any fucking thing but talking shit. But I'm going to give you my perception and I'm going to give you resources. And I too like to get small businesses' names out there, veteran or not. I want it to be a community thing and try to get the smaller people on the platform to where I can interview them. And if you have goods, I will buy the goods just so I can test them out, just so I can see them for myself and put a review out there for you. So, and we're on every major platform. It's not just YouTube and I got banned from YouTube. I'm like down to that.
Yeah, we're not. Yeah, we're not banned on YouTube yet, but we're definitely shadow banned. Like they're just they don't put anything on. Yeah.
I am.
But tell us a little bit about your service, in the Army, and then then get into maybe if you want like a little bit about the guests that you do have on and the topics that you like, some of your favorite shows that people should go back and listen to. But tell us a little bit about your service. What were you doing in the Army?
Well, I went in February '99 as a cable dog. The Marine, I bullshit you not, the Army was not my first choice. The Marines told me I was too aggressive, which surprised
That figures. Yeah. Marines are soft as shit, right, Chris?
They told me I was too aggressive because I did have a background,
Somebody didn't want to do the paperwork for the waivers.
Pretty much. And plus, females were taught to be the prim and proper back then. So, it wasn't, but the Army, of course, was like, hey, we take everybody, bitch, come on. So I went on ahead and joined in. I chose Cable Dog or the 25 series, the Signal series, the little Comcast or AT&T of the Army because the schooling was only 7 weeks. So I chose that and then ended up not really even doing that. How y'all know how the Army goes.
That's why Cliff chose it too. A lot easier.
So I got tossed into an orderly room and then I got tossed into supply and then went to supply school 8 years after the fact. So I deployed.
Well, hey, talk about that. So you didn't even do your job? You got put into
I rarely did my cable dog position. Rarely. I ran, like if they needed somebody to run and put some fibers down to the side or drive the LMTV, I was your gal. But other than that, I was logistics. And then they finally sent me to MOST school to train to actually get certified in logistics 8 years after the fact. But I retired in 2016. First deployment, Bosnia. Second deployment, Iraq. Third deployment, Afghanistan. Then I went back as a contractor that same year for about 90 days or whatever, back to Afghanistan and then to Kuwait, lovely Kuwait, and then back to Afghanistan and then end up medevaced out of Afghanistan and forced to retire.
Ah, gotcha.
Wait, so you got injured in Afghanistan as a civilian?
No. I was a soldier at that time. I went as a contractor for like 90 days and I was like, fuck that, I can't work with civilians in a combat zone. So I came back and because I was active duty from 99 to 2003, but I actually had a stroke when I was active duty when I came back from Bosnia. I was 21 years old. And when the height of the war was, Third IP was already Iraq. And after 9/11 happened, my ETS date was coming up and they would not let me re-enlist because I was high risk. So I got out, slid in through the reserves using my IRR time and just stayed on active duty orders the majority of the time. So I can stay up with good gear. I didn't want to get off of active duty. I didn't want to let it go. So
that's awesome. Yeah. No, that's again, like that, people, there's some people that will always trash the military, but I posted a picture of one of my mentors I met at H2F. He was a first sergeant when I was an E6 and, Command Sergeant Major 4. He ran the Army Marksmanship Unit and now he's 198th Sergeant Major. And he's just, like I said, I wasn't joking in the post. I know it sounds like a funny post, but like, he was one of the few NCOs that showed me you could be a nice NCO.
Yeah.
Like it was possible to be a nice person and be a nice NCO, be a leader. Right. And, like I always struggle with that. But I said to him, I said, like, if I could still do my job, I'd miss it.
Yeah.
But, with my back and my knee blown out, like, it's like, I can't do that job.
Yeah.
And so I feel your pain to where it's like when they tell you, I remember hearing that for the first time of like, yeah, you're pretty much done, homie.
Yeah.
And it's like,
now when I got medevac,
so that's awesome that you found a way to stay back in.
Yeah. But when I got medevac out of Afghanistan, this was the second time they tried to med board me. And I was like, no, fuck that. I'm not getting out. I'm staying in, because my thing of staying in was to fight for all the soldiers, because I had the shitty leadership. So somebody had to stand in and put themselves in the center spotlight, know your regulations. And I was a walking regulation at the time. Like, you was not going to, I had first sergeants like, what do you mean you only been in for 2-3 years? Blah, 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 blah. And I was like, my bad, first sergeant, I don't know how to read. I was that soldier that got on your nerves, but I knew my shit. Never had an Article 15, but I did get demoted one good time from my E5.
So you're a 2-time sergeant?
I was a staff sergeant when I retired, yes.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. So tell us a little bit about the show, some of the episodes that you really enjoy, like what you learned. How, like, does it help? Like, because we do veteran trash talk as our own therapy. That's why we started it. Mm-hmm. And when it got popular, it's like, well, let's do something good with it. And promote people. But like, tell us a little bit about like some of the shows, your favorite shows, and like what it's done for you.
Okay, so for me, it's more of a venting session, like you said. It's more of that I'm able to speak on my own experiences and my perception, but I also do the research to try to get more resources on it, especially when it comes down to the fuck addiction and the fuck racism. Those were my 2 favorite shows. And then, of course, with the credit, getting people to think about not keeping up with the Joneses, living within your means. Like, some people need that harsh reality. And then complacency versus comfortability, because people get complacent, and they start, what I tell people is stagnant water starts to stink. So the more you sit there and you're complacent and you're not really trying to move on or learn something, if you're not learning something new every single day and trying to better yourself in some kind of way, then you're fucking up. That's just my perception. Period. Because you can learn from the youngest generation to the oldest generation. There's something that you can still learn in between. Ain't nobody perfect. None of us. And just because we speak on our experiences, we're not triggered or whining or venting or whatever, whatever people may assume. But everybody is entitled to their opinions. So my favorite shows that I have done on the Hersh show, I've been able to interview veteran owners that have started telecommunications businesses since they've gotten out. My niece actually started her own tax business, and she's certified with credit repair and tax repair, and tells people how to get their money. You could be a stripper, you could sell lashes, you could do hair, you could do whatever, but she's certified and she's not going to bullshit you. I've had anywhere from just normal people doing interviews, but my goal is to do documentaries. And I did finally get in with the VFW down the street, which is a long lost location that a lot of our generation has not gotten involved with.
Sounds familiar, Nick.
Yeah, don't worry. We'll talk about that after this in a second. Yeah.
Yeah.
And so I found a new home. 5408 is my new home for the VFW down the street for me. And my goal is to start doing documentaries on the Vietnam. If it wasn't for the Vietnam vets, us Iraqi OEF and OIF vets wouldn't have the shit that we have.
Yeah.
Because they paved the way. They fought and they battled. My father was one of them. You know what I mean? So I think that we definitely need to start giving back to our older vets.
Yeah. Well, the Vietnam veterans were 100% forgotten.
Oh, yeah.
That's why
that irks me.
Yeah, and like I've helped coach a few Vietnam veterans on getting benefits as of even last year.
Yeah.
And it's like how are you not tracking this?
Yeah.
Like, and it's sad that they just drove on. That's what they're just like, you know what? Government sucks. See you later. I'm out.
Yeah.
I was in Baton Rouge because when I retired, I started working with FEMA, right? So, traveling to the different locations for disasters and stuff like that. I met a Korean War vet, and and I had my Bronze Star is on my keychain, one of my my Bronze Star keychain or whatever, and he noticed it and he asked me if my husband served, and I had to bite my tongue a little bit because back then it was a man's army, whatever. So we got to talking and chit chatting. I actually borrowed the young lady where the store I was at. I borrowed her laptop to go ahead and lock him in on the VA website and stuff like that. We have to start doing stuff like that. We have to be better at assisting the older vets.
And I do get a little triggered about that too with the VFW. And that's actually Veteran Trash Talk's long-term goal is to replace the VFW. We want to have, hard stand structures, where we have a place that vets can come hang out. And like you said, the GWAT vets and even a lot of the Vietnam vets, they don't want spaghetti dinners and Busch Light. And they don't want one pool table and a smoke-filled bar. It's like that was fun for me growing up in Milwaukee. Like I love that shit. Right? I love the little tiny bar that I can go, play pool in. But let's get the resources to where we can actually have things that people from GWAT, which is 3 different generations of people. It's 20 freaking years of war. Right. Yeah. So it's like you got Generation X, even some of the boomers even fought in GWAT, then Y and Z and everybody. So I'm not going to give all of the information to ROA because somebody with money will jack it before I can do it.
Don't give out the ideas. We'll talk offline on that one.
But I think of course I'm a member of one of the largest VA post here in Virginia, and they really do a good job here in catering to other ages, and they're usually really busy. VFW. Now they do flea markets, they do gun shows, they hold events there all the time.
Family oriented.
They do like wings, like $1 wings family night.
You're always going to find those places though that is that diamond in the rough. The problem is an organization like that needs to be the gold standard. That needs to be the majority of them, not the here and there.
Yeah.
We're so spread out and there's so many of us that.
When I was down in Hampton, the VFW there was just, like you said, it was a smoke-filled room, an old building, they had a couple pool tables, an old TV. And it was.
I blame the GWAT. We forgot ever since Vietnam, nobody's really went to that location. And American Legion has fallen off as well.
Yeah. Right. We definitely could. Us veterans could definitely share that responsibility. You're right. Yeah. But again, the point is that when I had my conversation with the VFW, their headquarters, and we were talking about Buddy and I's Fifth Principle podcast going on tour with them because Troxel's is their lead spokesman now, and he's been on the show multiple times, got us connected, and it was like, hey, we'll go on tour and. We'll start doing events at your VFWs that are struggling.
Yeah.
And start try to get GWAT soldiers to show up.
Yeah.
It was St. Louis. We did one.
Yeah. Right. And it's like that thing was a beautiful VFW. It was just dead. And it was like
6 people maybe.
Imagine if we were able to put money into marketing. Have a podcast there with GWAT veterans, and then actually doing a GWAT thing, a family thing, getting people there, showing them, hey, look at this nice building that you can come hang out in, right? See this, let's get this going. And what
they have a good restaurant too. I mean,
they told us that the same type of thing of any failing business leader is they thought very linear. And they said that this is happening because the GWAT soldiers, same thing, kind of the GWAT soldiers don't want to hang out, and I'm sitting here like,
actually, we do.
No shit. Yeah, it's like look how fast we grew Veteran Trash Talk, and it's like 100% we do.
Want to talk to veterans, but they're like talking to civilians about shit because they're not going to understand this wholehearted.
Yeah.
Right.
So-
And everybody who's been in any type of leadership course will tell you that the greatest leaders, they look, when there's a problem, they look in, right?
Not
They look at themselves.
Yep.
And they say, is there anything that I need to do? You know, and the stories are clear. When there's a bad leader, it's their fault.
Yeah.
Right. And it's like, okay.
But
It's
at the same time, the VFW and American Legion don't have the advertisement like VAB has, like Wounded Warrior has, like, you know what I mean? Like the VFW and American Legion are just like them older veterans. It's falling off.
But
forgetting
to
about
circle back, the reason they don't have that advertising is they don't have the followage that they need. They need to invest before. You got to spend money to make money.
And just
They
go ahead
gotta get away from the old
research.
business model.
Go ahead and
a lot
research
of
the headquarters of the
a lot of
VFW.
the older veterans don't know how to do that advertisement and then this new technology shit. So it is going to be on our. It's like when people say, "Well, it's not the same since Grandma's passed. It's not the same because nobody gets together anymore." It's our turn to pick up the torch and run with it.
I love that. I love that. So I like, you know, Christmas on my mom's side was Grandma had everybody over.
Yeah.
Everybody. And that's complete. Obviously, I was traveling in the military, but anytime I can make it back, I'm like, hey, where's the party at for the holidays? We kind of do our own thing. And I'm sitting like, that's not cool, you know. So I'll put my personal life out there again. One of my major goals is not to be rich. I can't, like I always tell people, like, don't have a number on what your goal is. Have something that you can achieve.
Yeah.
Because if it's just I want to be rich, well, what's rich?
Yeah.
Right. If I want to have $1 million, then what? What happens when you get the million? Right.
Yeah.
Like, I'm sure you'll have money, you know, cool. But like, no, I want to be able to have a place big enough to bring my family in, like my whole family. Like, hey, Christmas, you're all coming here.
Yeah.
Like, and we're doing it. Right. Like, and so that's hilarious. That it's that you said that. But
it's our generation's turn to pick up the torch and run with it. We have to stop depending on the moms and the grandmothers and the uncles and aunties, because that generation is sadly they're dying off.
Right.
And if we don't pick it up and run with it, who the fuck is gonna do it?
Well, now in society these days, we are the grandfathers and the grandmothers and all that.
Yeah. Well,
not having something if we're not actually taking a piece and trying to put into it.
And all four of us right now are bringing up points to where I always say, stop thinking linear. All right, think systematically. Like, you know, it's a big system. Okay, there's lots of factors. There isn't one reason why your business is failing.
No.
All right, like there might be one major reason, but there's probably 16 things contributing to that. And that's why I love golf so much. Like, I was teaching my daughter golf today a little bit, and I was like, it's like I don't care how athletic you are. I don't care, you know, what you're doing. If you have your back foot 2 inches off of where it should be, it's going to cause 4 different things wrong in your swing.
Yep.
Right. No matter what. So it's like, the greatest game to think about. There might be 6 or 7 things wrong. Right. So let's look at the entire system. And so, like what you brought up, what Cliff brought up, what Chris is bringing up, all these things, but they still go back to the head of the snake. Yeah. So when I talked to the head of the snake, and the head of the snake was right away pointed out, and it was like, oh, I already don't like you. Like you should have been pointing in. Like, hey, we're identifying these 5 problems.
Yeah.
Can you help?
Yeah.
You know, as opposed to just blaming GWAP people. It's like, how about you, like you said, how about you hire some GWAP people, like some 25, 30, 40-year-olds in that range, 25 to 40. Hire people in there, right? And say, what are you guys doing nowadays? Well, we love playing Fortnite. You know,
look at the boot campaign. Why not get on with that?
Let's have a Fortnite competition. Yeah. You know, let's invest in some PS5s. You know, bring them into the VFWs. Have some game rooms. Yeah. You know, like. Who plays pool anymore? Chris does, you know, but we always.
I mean, the one down the street.
I do too. I play pool. So do I. But I'm saying, like, nobody does that anymore. Like, they just don't. You don't go to pool halls anymore unless you were raised in like a city or a family that had it. Like, oh, I still do. I'm just saying, like, we can't look at what we like to do. We got to look at like what encompasses the majority.
Yep.
Right. So
yeah. I I get that, and people love to eat. So if you bring out the smokers and do some plates and all of that good stuff, there's ways to do it.
Food is the universal way to bring everybody together, just not spaghetti dinners.
And I will tell you
I think
that
a lot of times people just get too busy. People are too busy. It's go, 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 go in this society. It's just whatever, and plus stress levels are extremely high, and fucking inflation and everything else. People are too busy trying to figure out what they need to do to take care of home.
Yeah. Well, if you watched my mental health minute the other day, that's what I said. You got to just stop the noise, right? You got to stop the noise around you and take a step back and look. That was reference to Tucker Carlson's video that he made, like 70 million views. But that's what he was talking about. Once you step back and shut the noise off and change your perspective of what's going around, then you realize how to fix your problem or move on from it or decide what you need to do with it. And I think sometimes you were saying we get so busy and wrapped up in life with little shit that you don't even need to worry about. That's when it becomes an issue and a problem. And I think, just stopping the noise every now and then is not a bad thing.
I'll give you a prime example. When I went to my bone doctor the other day for osteoporosis or whatever, the nurse took my blood pressure and she said, how in the hell is your blood pressure 100/69? But with all my medical, from having a stroke and all this and all that, I said, because I don't worry about shit. I don't stress over shit. Your shit, their shit, the bullshit, none of that. I laugh at things. I figure it out. My adaptability, I look at everything as adaptability skill. How are you willing, when you're confronted with something, your adaptability skills is going to tell you everything because you're being tested. And if you can't look at something, you can get frustrated, scream it out for 2 minutes, but you figure the shit out. Yeah. You don't stop and stagnate right there because stagnant water starts to stink, period.
That's right. I love that. No matter
which way you do it.
I love that. Stagnant water starts to stink.
It does. It does. It does. So you have to be able to adapt and figure this shit out. And if something else is blocking your way, you figure that shit out too. You just have to I don't give a fuck if you got to skip or do a cartwheel over it. Keep going in that direction of what you need to get done. And you can pivot at any time. But if you don't rewire your brain in the way that you're thinking about stuff and you're always negative Nancy, then baby, you need to look in that mirror and cuss your own self out because that's where it fucking starts. Yeah. So if you're not able to look at yourself and say, this is where I'm fucked up at, that's why I told you earlier I stopped drinking. That's where I was fucking up at. Because, and I had to have that deep-rooted talk within myself. Am I perfect? Fuck no. But we make it do what it do.
That's right.
Yeah, I'm gonna. I started following your podcast, but I want to go back and listen to some more of them because it's like what you said. I love the stagnant water starts to stink, and yeah, it'd be a great shirt. Yeah, we'll make a shirt for you, and we'll put all the money to you guys. But it's that therapy, that talking through it, and then the not like the Hersh shit. All right, that's like this is my shit. This is my perspective. And then what you said this here is brilliant. And I've done some book of rules on this, just in a different language. But we're not hypocrites.
Yep.
All right. When we're talking about things that we've done wrong, and we're saying that, hey, don't act like this, it's because we're sharing what we've done wrong.
Yeah. Because I done fucked up plenty of times.
Learn from my mistakes.
Well, we don't have to learn from my mistakes necessarily, but it's like, I know, and I've looked into my demon, and I know that demon is destroying my life.
Yeah.
Right. And so your demon's not the same as mine, but it might have some similar characteristics. Right. Yeah. And it's like if you're not fixing it, and like Dave always says, definition of insanity, right, is doing the same shit over and over again and expecting a different outcome.
Yep.
Right.
Yep.
Like another reason why I love golf. But it's like like keep trying it that way. You're gonna keep sucking, man. Like
yeah.
Like so I just keep swinging. Okay, whatever. But no, like
but you have to regroup. It don't matter which weapon you pick up. You should be able to group it. You're going to look at it, and if it's going too far to the right, then you're going to bring it back. You're going to know which way to aim at. So, yeah, if you don't figure it out, then you're just going to be all over the fucking paper, and then you're going to sit there and blame everything else. Yeah. But look at yourself and your own mentality.
It can't always be everybody else's fault. You have to take ownership of your responsibilities and your choices because they're yours and yours alone. Yeah.
Every action has a reaction, and whatever you decide, you can choose whatever path you desire, but that path also comes with consequences. So if you're not thinking and you be like, oh shit, I fucked up, let me step back, let me go to the right, let me go around it, or whatever. You're allowed to change your path at any given time, but a lot of fucking people get stuck and start whining and pointing fingers at everybody else except for themselves.
That's true. That's very much like my favorite saying. It's not failure if you learn from it. If you learn from it, it was a lesson.
Right.
Perfect.
Lessons are stepping stones. A mistake only turns into a bad thing when it starts to become a choice.
All right, so Hersh, where do they find you? Where do they type in?
So the Hersh Show, the THE, and then HER, capital HER, and then lowercase SHYT. And you can go on Facebook. I'm on Instagram. I'm also on the 8 Robinsons TV. .com, which is one of the platforms, which is my producer's platform. Mm-hmm. And then you can go on iHeartRadio and listen. If you don't want to look at this ugly mug, you can just listen.
Knock it off. Radio. And it's your birthday. Beautiful 43 years old.
It's my fucking birthday.
Yeah.
Happy birthday. 21 again.
So you got Amazon, any of the major platforms, the Apple Pod, the whatever, all the podcast platforms, it's on there. The Hersh Shit, but with a Y, show.
When they go on and download the iHeartRadio app, what should they search for? Because I know, for me, there's a certain word they search Reese, and then Reese Across America Radio comes up. So if they go on the iHeartRadio app and they want to find you, what's a good keyword for them to put in to be able to find you easily?
HERSHYT.
Yeah, the Hersh shit. Hersh shit. No, that's a good point, Cliff, because I mean, we had podcasters that we were branding that were like, I can't find my shit on here. I'm like, well, type this in, so it's like, somebody will put in, there has to be the right thing. Otherwise you'll get all kinds of stupid stuff.
And so you can put, it's literally the Hersh Shit, or you can go on the Facebook, the Hersh Shit Show. And the link right there is for, it'll go straight to the main page, the 8 Robinsons TV, my producer's page. You can go there, and the YouTube link is right there too. But again, if you go on iHeartRadio, HERSHYT.
I dropped your Facebook page.
They just posted it. Yeah, Chris posted it. Yeah.
Thank you.
And by the way, we own Gruntworks now, flat out. So go ahead and when you go to shop.veterantrashtalk.com, all the Gruntworks merch is on there. And again, it's 100% veteran owned. Okay, not like Grunt Style. All right, Grunt Style forced out their veteran owners. They got great stuff. They do great things for the community. Yeah. And we're actually Grunt owned. So it's like,
and all of our stuff is printed in America.
Right. I love that. You're charging $30 a shirt. Well, yeah, you want me to order from China?
You brought up a good point, Earl. So if somebody does have a product, or if they want to do a Zoom, it won't be a live or anything like that as of right now. But if they do want to do like a Zoom, I don't have the famous tech guy, but
hey, we keep him in a basement. We gotta lock his ass up. So he's lucky he's out today. So
but the hershitshow@gmail.com. Send your business link. I do like to test products. I'm not asking for a discount or anything like that. If you want to be interviewed, I don't give a fuck if you're selling eyelashes or stripper shoes or poles or dildo, whatever.
Are there stripper shoes?
Are there stripper shoes on my show? I can probably find you some.
No, but is that a thing?
You were in Vietnam. Don't even try to take that.
Yeah, but I wasn't looking at their shoes, Chris.
There are certain types of shoes that strippers like. I'm not going to tell you how I know.
Okay.
She was in Fayetteville too at one point.
She did a show on it. Yeah, that's it.
2 weeks ago we were talking about strippers. Last week we were talking about two 8-month pregnant ladies in a strip club at Mickey's. That was fun.
Yeah.
Hey, listen, if you're in Connecticut and you want to learn how to do the pole, my cousin actually owns a business that does. She used to be a stripper, so she actually teaches the pole dances now. So hey,
that came out years ago as exercise.
Yeah,
I'm here for it. It's fucking exercise. I wouldn't do it. I got bad knees.
Well, I can't do it. I would do one bend slap and I'd fall over. So like
Battery might pop out your ass.
I wouldn't be able to get back up.
I can't even put the heels on. Fuck that. I gotta go and slide.
Yeah, but all right, hey, let's get to Cliff's recommendation for next week of how you can be more positive and not be a triggered person like the Big Earl was. All right, I didn't turn into a pansy, but
that's right. I read
though.
this book when I was a kid, and it was talking about having rhinoceros skin, right? And so it's just important that when there's a lot of noise around you, a lot of things, is just to let it bounce off, because really in life, did that really matter? If you're driving to work and somebody cuts you off, or somebody is saying something, does that really matter? And really focus on things that really matter to you. And you realize that other stuff is just bullshit. So have rhinoceros skin this week coming up. Let things bounce off of you, and don't worry about it, and have a great week.
That's awesome. All right, Chris, you get the AAR.
I took notes. I've been watching.
Yeah, good.
So DB Cooper, Cliff and Hersh said he made it. He lived his life out great. But Big Earl brought the truth that it was actually a way to launder money for the CIA to fund the Phoenix Project. And then this week, the Big Earl was triggered by a guy that was on the plane with him who was wearing a mask, who's obviously concerned about his health, but ate cookies and Coke, took the mask off to do so, and then complained by everything was taking so long. Hersh is a badass. When the Army tried to quit her, she still wouldn't quit. She found a way to get around that loopholes. And she doesn't worry about bullshit. Flat out.
Nice.
And the new shirt coming out is going to be Stagnant Water Starts to Stink.
Yeah, love that.
Yeah.
Stagnant water starts to stink. Well, perfect. And Hersh, before we give you the last words, again, go to shop.veterantrashtalk.com or order all our merch there. Again, it's veteran owned. We're working on to get our prices down when we're taking it step by step, and we're getting there. But we got to start somewhere. And so again, if you're whining about the $30, maybe you don't need to be buying our shirts. But that's fine. You don't have to buy it. Like, we're okay with it.
The quality of the t-shirts, hands down, is the best quality when you go out and buy them. And not just the material, because the material is soft and stuff. They don't shrink.
This is 2.5 years old.
Yeah. And they don't fade. So, I mean, you pay a little bit, but you're paying for a good quality t-shirt that's going to be around for a long time.
Listen, if people are fucking paying for Louis Vuitton bags and designer shoes, then they can get a t-shirt that's going to last.
That's right.
Look at Supreme.
Yeah.
Yep. But that's thank you for all coming on the Trash Talk Hour. We had a blast like we always do. Hersh, please stick around after we cut the live. We'll chat a little bit more, but go download her podcast. All right. If you're a veteran, listen to 2. If you don't like it, then unsubscribe. That's fine. But go subscribe and get on that podcast. Anybody's opinion, whether you like it or not, is just another learning experience. So she might be bringing some awesome people on that might help you out. And like you said, Hersh, and we'll talk about it again, if we saved one life today, all right, because they were engaged and they were listening, that's all that matters. So if I looked at our viewers and we only had one, I'd be okay with it. All right. Or we'll obviously have more because we have an awesome community, but like that would be great. Like we had one person, and you had a lot of birthday wishes. All right. You had
a lot of birthday wishes.
Rob saying happy birthday.
Thank you.
Yeah, we got Brian saying happy birthday. Becky, my wife, say happy birthday. And then we got a couple more, but I'm not going to keep scrolling up. So Hersh, last words, and then Chris can cut us.
All right, so you can send topic ideas too if you want my perception on something. I do not say anybody's name. I only talk about the situation. The hershitshow@gmail.com. SHYT. So that's Yankee for the people that actually understood that. Make sure you go to the hershitshow@gmail.com. Send me topics, send me ideas, send me links to buy your stuff. All that good stuff. If you want to be interviewed, send it to me. Go to Instagram, go to Facebook, go to YouTube, and any major platform. And they'll be starting to drop weekly again on Wednesdays at 1700. Thank you so much for the birthday.
Awesome. Great show, guys.
All right, y'all have a good one.